The Russian army captures mercenaries in Chasiv Yar. Ukrainian forces withdraw from Kurakhove. Hello, dear friends. Due to the weather, there haven't been significant changes to the frontline map in recent days. However, today, there are substantial updates in the southern Donetsk direction. Before we begin, I would like to ask you to subscribe to the channel. By subscribing, you not only help the channel grow, but also motivate me to create content daily. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed. Let's start with the news about the Russian Oresnik missile, which struck the southern machine-building plant located in Dnipropetrovsk. Here is the plant's location, which was hit by the missile. The warhead parts of the Oresnik struck workshops on the plant's premises, including a secret underground facility. Sources report that NATO components and equipment for short-range ballistic missiles were stored in these underground workshops. Now, moving from breaking news to the battlefield map, Kurakhove direction. There are no changes on the map here. Russian forces continue their attacks on the settlements of Novoandriivka, Novodanilivka, and Mala Tokmachka. As previously mentioned, movements in this section of the front are expected to begin after the Russian armed forces secure the Kurakhove pocket. We continue to monitor the situation and move forward. Vremivka direction. Starting from the western part, Russian forces are continuing attacks on the settlements of Rivnopil and Novosilka. It's possible that Russian troops have already entered these settlements, but there is no confirmed information yet, so no changes have been made to the map. News is coming from the settlement of Makarivka. According to sources, the Russian armed forces are clearing the area and advancing on Storozheve and Blahodatne. Now for confirmed changes on the map. The Russian armed forces have significantly expanded their control zone west of the settlements of Zolota Niva and Shakhtarske. The changes are marked on the map in a different color. From Zolota Niva, Russian troops have advanced toward Velyka Novosilka along the supply route. Simultaneously, from Shakhtarske, Russian forces are moving westward along another supply route, thereby closing the pocket between the two routes. Currently, battles are taking place for a fortified area near a settlement. Geomaterials have been received from this point, and the fortified area is located here. Moving north, Rozdolna. In the settlement of Rozdolna, the Russian armed forces are encircling the area from the north and south, preparing to cut off its supply routes and take it into a pincer movement. Once the settlement is fully under Russian control, the entire agglomeration will be cut off from supply lines. Given the weather conditions, retreating from settlements via field roads will become more difficult for Ukrainian forces. They will either have to retreat on foot, abandoning their equipment, or face the risk of being surrounded, captured, or destroyed. Meanwhile, Russian forces continue attacks on Rozliv and Suki Yali, though there are no changes on the map yet. However, based on past events, updates in this section are likely soon. Kurakhove direction. As you can see on the map, the Russian armed forces have begun tightening the encirclement and pressing from two sides. As a result, vast territories are coming under Russian military control. A few days ago, reports indicated that Yelizavetivka and Ilyinka had come under Russian control. However, as these reports are unconfirmed, no changes have been made to the map. Geomaterials from this point show the advanced positions of Russian troops. Consequently, the map in this section has shifted, with this entire territory now under the control of the Russian army. Additionally, after capturing the settlement of Dalny, Russian forces expanded their control zone southward and established new positions. As we predicted earlier, it is likely that this entire pocket will come under Russian control by the end of this month. We will continue monitoring the situation in this area of hostilities and move forward. Kurakhove. Here, the Russian armed forces continue to exert pressure on the settlement. South of Kurakhove, Russian forces have advanced along the road leading to the town and have taken control of the territories marked for you in a different color. Additionally, the southeastern part of Kurakhove has been subjected to attacks. This suggests that in the coming days this pocket may be closed and the Russian army will begin pressuring Kurakhove from the south. These are the updates for this area today. In the settlement of Sonivka, Russian forces have taken control of its southern part, cutting it off from supply routes. In the next 2 to 3 days, the settlement is expected to be cleared and come under Russian control. Simultaneously, Russian troops are advancing toward Shevchenko, with battles taking place at this location. At the current pace, it is likely that this entire pocket will come under the control of the Russian armed forces by the end of the month. Toretsk. In Toretsk, the Ukrainian defense has begun to crumble gradually, and Russian forces are gaining momentum. Geomaterials received yesterday evening from this location indicate advanced Russian positions. This morning, reports stated that battles are ongoing along Dolzhenko Street, and areas marked on the map are now under Russian control. Our earlier predictions about this pocket being liquidated have been proven correct. Significant changes are expected in this direction soon. Chasiv Yar. In Chasiv Yar, the Russian armed forces have advanced toward the center of the settlement, with forward positions located near school number 15. Reports indicate that Russian forces have captured several foreign mercenaries who provided critical information to Russian troops. This includes the locations of Ukrainian military positions, suggesting that significant changes on the map in this direction will occur shortly once geomaterials are received. Lyman direction. In the settlement of Terny, Russian forces are building on their success, with battles taking place in the center of the settlement. Geomaterials from this location confirm the presence of Russian forces, indicating that this area is under the control of the Russian armed forces. Elsewhere in this sector, intense fighting continues, and map updates will follow as new geomaterials become available. Kupiansk direction. Russian forces have fully taken control of the settlement of Kolesnikivka, clearing the remaining pocket to the east. A contested area marked in yellow is reported to be under control by both sides, awaiting geospatial confirmation to mark it definitively on the map. In Kupiansk, Russian forces continue to hold their previously secured positions and are reportedly expanding their control zone in the center of the settlement with artillery support. The map remains as is for now, pending new geomaterials to confirm additional changes. Kursk direction. No significant changes have been reported in this sector. However, reports indicate that the settlement of Darino is under Ukrainian control, with Russian forces continuing their attacks. Meanwhile, in the Oligovsky forest, Russian forces have reportedly established full control, allowing them to advance toward Maloloknya. Ukrainian sources, however, deny the loss of the Oligovsky forest. Kurakhove. Details. As mentioned, fighting is ongoing in the center of Kurakhove, specifically in several blocks of residential buildings. The foothold in the area was secured following a successful landing operation from Stepanivka. Russian troops crossed the reservoir by boat, landing near the elevator, which they captured after heavy fighting in a single night. After securing the elevator, they launched attacks in other directions. Currently, the situation in Kurakhove is as follows. The eastern part of the city is fully under Russian control. The central part is either under Russian control or remains a contested grey zone. Only the western part of Kurakhove is firmly under Ukrainian control, though this situation could change rapidly. Explanation of the situation in Kurakhove. Currently, the decisive battle is unfolding in just a few blocks of the city, as this area is composed of multi-story buildings, effectively making it a fortified zone. While it is only a small area and not comparable to Toretsk, the presence of high-rise structures significantly slows the advance of Russian forces. If the Ukrainian armed forces retreat from this rectangular zone, it can be officially stated that the battle for Kurakhove is lost. Beyond this area lies a district of single- and two-story buildings, which offer little opportunity for defensive resistance. Ukrainian forces might only be able to hold out on the westernmost outskirts, where there is a small industrial zone, but even that would likely not be a major challenge for Russian troops, given their experience in capturing the industrial zone in Avdiivka. Additionally, it's important to consider the flanking maneuvers aimed at cutting off supplies to the Ukrainian garrison in Kurakhove. Progress is being made on these fronts as well. For example, in the settlement of Berezki, now fully under Russian control, troops have moved along the road towards Stary Terny. As we've discussed before, Stary Terny is crucial for controlling Kurakhove due to its dam and logistical significance, effectively a two-in-one strategic point. Currently, Russian forces are advancing along this road, with one significant stronghold still in their path. If this stronghold is captured, the road ahead will be open and unobstructed. Updates on the Pokrovsk direction. In the Pokrovsk direction, Russian units have resumed offensive operations. Over the past several days, Russian aviation and artillery have been actively targeting this area. Such intense bombardments typically precede an offensive, and the attacks have now begun. One area of particular interest is near the settlement of Lysivka. In September, Russian forces captured Lysivka, but subsequent offensive actions stalled due to efforts being redirected elsewhere. For 2 months, intense fighting occurred, resulting in the capture of the settlements of Hrihorivka and Petrovka. The main objective here is advancing toward Shevchenko, which is considered the southern suburb of Pokrovsk and is also rich in natural resources. Today, movement has resumed from Lysivka toward Dakinske, a neighboring village just 1 kilometer away. Dakinske is significant because it provides a direct road to Pokrovsk, with only 5 kilometers separating the village from the city. Prospects of the assault on Pokrovsk. Various forecasts and analyses about the timeline for a Russian assault on Pokrovsk have circulated. Some predicted in September that an offensive would begin by early December, but it is now clear that this timeline was overly optimistic. A new target has been set for the end of the year. Based on current developments, it appears that the Russian command's primary goal is not a frontal assault on Pokrovsk itself, but rather cutting off its central supply artery. This key route links Pokrovsk with Dnipro, and severing it would disrupt logistical support for the Ukrainian garrison in Pokrovsk. The broader objective seems to be advancing into Dnipropetrovsk Oblast from this direction, cutting off supply routes to the Pokrovsk garrison. Only after these supply lines are severed would storming the city itself become feasible. For now, Russian forces are concentrating near Pokrovsk, tightening the encirclement in preparation for future actions. As of now, it is too early to speculate about an imminent assault or entry into Pokrovsk by Russian forces. This concludes the updates on the Pokrovsk direction and the overall situation on the front line for today.